the honest truth, when it comes to communication, there's no one that is bigger than the other. It's just two people at a table trying to come to a conclusion of something. The reason for communication is to fix and not for more damage.
Area of open up everything. In as much as yes, there's no secret from the beginning. I told you there shouldn't be any secret in marriage. All right. I've looked at it critically and found out that this thing is not actually detrimental to my marriage moving forward. I'm fine. But just that this was my rough life. This was the process of my life growing, people. You don't give people a blueprint of your life to operate on. Be open the way the partner understands that you're moving into perfection. You understand? So that every single thing that comes up as life goes on, as the relationship comes, it should be a new thing for you to learn and understand that this is who Barry is now.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're welcome to another section of the Room 69 podcast. My name is Confidence Paulinus, Comfy Paul for short. And as usual, I remain your host for today. And with me, I have the elegant. So what's this? Why is this orange? What's this?
It's a
what are you
signal
trying to do?
that you need to be paired up with a woman, not me though.
No. But why are you wearing orange with me?
It's the color of the day.
Color of the day.
Yeah,
and
because
then,
we're going to add color to.
And then the fine young man beside you has decided to become a deviation.
I don't understand.
That's
I'm not part of your
married men.
I'm not in your league now.
Okay,
This is for the unmarried.
You don't have to respect
You know, when
me.
you're married, you're colorful.
Really?
Yeah, the color attracts. But when you're married, you need to tone down so that you don't attract.
Anyway, I think this is more fine than
All right,
this.
I give it to you.
Yes, my boss. Say hello to the audience yet again.
All right, my guys. You know, how far? Let's do it again as we used to do.
My guys.
Into like guys.
No, even girls. No, I agree the ladies.
Hello, sisterhood and brotherhood. How you doing?
They're buying this week.
Honestly, now I need to.
It's part of the billing.
It resembles the wig I buy for my mom.
This is. Sorry.
I'm sorry.
I didn't hear that.
Your mama be.
She didn't. I gave it.
Okay, now your mama now you gave.
I gave
Let's
it.
go.
Okay. Our can no play makes Jack and Bob, but of course we are not playing. Now we have a very, very interesting topic we want to talk about. Don't forget, Room 69 podcast is a place where we talk meets what sexual wellness. Always stick that at the back of your mind. Yes, we try to offer solutions to your problems. You know, our conversation might fall within the confine of what you're going through. And then we try our best to answer, those beckoning questions. My people, today we have a very interesting topic to talk about. Very interesting.
As always.
Communication is the what?
Is the key.
What do you mean the padlock?
You don't change the padlock.
They don't change the padlock.
The padlock has been upgraded.
Don't be like they don't upgrade them.
They don't upgrade them. They are now.
Communication will be the key again. But communication is very instrumental.
Yeah.
Very, very instrumental. So important that the normal axiom is the key to unlock. But because of, in as much as we know that communication is important, that small word we see, communication, has become the determining factor to why some relationship or marriages are crumbling or standing. So, at the same time, again, I use the word paradox the other time.
Yeah.
I still use the word paradox. It has both good and bad.
And bad, yeah.
So, because of sometimes some of the magnitude of the things people have done, either the boy or the girl or the man or the woman, some of the magnitudes of the things they've done, they feel very, very uncomfortable to share some secret or communicate their vulnerabilities.
Yeah.
Whether at that time or prior to meeting the person.
Yeah.
So when they meet this person now, they are so scared of sharing, things they've been through and all of that, because sometimes people might use it against them.
Yeah.
So that's still have this relationship with emotional maturity and all.
Yeah.
But then first, let us see. The question I want to ask before we go deep into this is that, my boss, is it everything that should be communicated to a partner, either in a relationship? Okay, come from the marriage angle, and let's say you come from the relationship angle, and we'll meet at a junction. Is it everything that should be communicated to a partner?
Why I won't say, in as much as she can come from the single angle.
Yes.
Still, you cannot talk about marriage without talking about relationship first.
Yes,
all right.
True.
So I would say that in marriage, yes,
Everything.
you should communicate
To your
everything.
partner.
But the only thing is that you should know the time. All right? You should know the time. You should know the person. Because in as much as this is your husband or this is your wife, does not make he or she perfect. In relationship, like I said, you can't talk about marriage if you're not talking about relationship. But still, let me jump relationship. In marriage, everything.
Everything.
Yes. Principle, because everything in life has principle and marriage has principle too. So the principle of marriage demand that you should communicate everything. But the problem is that you have to know the time.
Okay.
You have to know who. And when I talk about who, I'm talking about, like you said, emotional maturity, the ability to handle
Those things.
whatever that I have to communicate. And even if the person have the capacity to handle it, the timing of which I'm communicating that can also be a problem. All right. So it's not just about the communication itself. It's about the understanding, the intelligence behind the communication. All right. If not, you might be communicating a good thing. At the end of the day, that ends your marriage.
Okay. Single to stupor. Or single.
Hey, I can never.
Oh boy, that one.
I back
I didn't see that one coming.
I'm sorry.
I can never be single to
One knot.
stupid.
That's one knot. Sorry. That's one
So
knot. Take it
you
to.
actually
He is
remember
the,
this.
you know, he's
You are
talking.
the one who is single to stupor because for myself,
Uh-huh.
You're
I'm
not.
committed.
Please,
Oh.
Mr.
I'm taking.
Yes. Oh, yes,
Okay.
that's true. We have to make that, please. Not so single. Tell us.
Okay, partial single.
Yes. Not so
You see the
single.
both of you? No wahala.
Tell us what it
Sister,
is.
All right, tell us.
yeah, we
Let
have
us.
war declared. But anyways, based on the topic for today,
Yes.
I once, or should I say, once upon a time,
Mm.
I told my partner, the moment you let secrets step into our relationship, you are breeding more problems.
Mm.
Because this thing called communication is the most important thing.
Yeah.
You communicated to start that relationship. So you need to communicate to keep the
it.
relationship.
Mm.
So if you don't communicate, a lot of things will go wrong.
Mm.
The moment you don't communicate, in simple English, you're keeping secrets.
Mm.
And the moment you start keeping secrets, I mean, a lot of things don't spoil.
Mm.
So just like what Mr. Barry said, emotional maturity is important. You need to know who is involved, the person's mental capacity, whether it's someone who can take in stuff. But just that, I will never, if you find out that your partner is that kind of person who can't, take in secrets,
Mm.
I
Really
will suggest you call that partner and speak your concerns to that partner. And if the person is not willing to change, the honest truth is I don't know what you're doing in that relationship, because that's a deal breaker for me. If I can't communicate to you, if I can't tell you this is wrong, and yeah, that's a deal breaker for me, because if I can't communicate effectively, telling you I'm happy with this, I'm not happy with that, how will that relationship thrive? How will it flourish? It's dead even from the beginning.
But sorry that I caught you.
No problem.
One of the challenge we are having, like I said,
Communicating.
is this communication? Okay, now is this communication now?
Yes.
Because just example, what's happening now? There's something she's saying,
Okay.
and I have an entire different view about it.
What
All
is
right.
it?
And this is why, if you check, I think that was our last episode. I was saying something when I talk about, you being a man, not being too emotional.
Yes.
But when you become too emotional, there are certain things your woman is saying, and for peace to reign, in quote, you say, okay, let's go.
I thought Pharaoh
And
drowned in the Red Sea.
definitely to the man, it means entirely different thing. All right. And that is where the problem of communication actually lies. Communication is not just by speaking. Do you understand?
It's by what?
It's by the understanding, in-depth understanding of what the person is saying. And this is another part. I can tell you Obi is a boy, for example. And the motive behind me saying that does not necessarily mean that Obi is a boy. Communication is very complex. Do you understand?
Very,
And if you don't calm down to look at it, and that is why whenever you're having this communication, everybody has to be emotionless. You have to be logical. You have to have the realistic reasoning. Do you understand? And it takes time. The problem is that at the end of the day, okay, since you don't want to hear now, no wahala, it don't go. Problem.
That's true.
So, how do we communicate this thing effectively?
So should we know that it's not just women who do that thing, like just
Well,
Men. Okay, now.
based on the question I asked,
Yeah.
because there is always something my pastor says. He says, if I point like this, it means these other fingers are facing me.
sure?
Yeah.
So while I'm doing this, it means I also have to,
Yeah.
put in something. To me, I think at some point, in fact, in the beginning of a relationship, when your relationship is within the first one, you don't communicate everything.
In the relationship.
Yes, in the
Yeah, sure.
relationship.
I
That's
agree with
really,
you.
That's really
Yes.
dicey.
I agree with you.
It's dicey, but I think, in fact, you should not communicate everything to your partner.
Like what? Like what? Wait. Bring it down.
Let me
Like
tell
what
you.
and what? Which area do you think
Let
somebody
me
should
tell
not
you.
communicate?
First, there are a lot of things that you can communicate, whether your partner is emotionally mature
Or not?
Me as a guy, I understand that this gender is seated, they are built differently. These people are not normal.
They can never be normal.
You can communicate this thing now to them and be like, oh babe, see this thing. Babe, do you know that? Yes, you.
That's a very hard thing.
There was a time that, babe, I had this thing to do with this girl.
Yeah.
And then before you know, I never wanted to do it too. But this thing just happened between I and this girl. And this gender, what they will say, they will just be like, oh really? Babe, don't worry, it's past. 2 years later. 2 years later.
They have reservoirs.
Yeah? They will have something. You will just do something that will trigger that will trigger them bringing that thing, reminiscing and bringing it back to life.
At you.
Then you know the next thing they will say. The next thing they say, there's a problem, little problem. Oh, no wonder. Who knows if you've gone to do what you did last time?
Are we talking about petty men here?
Not petty men.
We have
Wait.
petty men
And then
who act
you
the
be
same
like,
way.
wait, you be like, boss, I'm coming. You
yeah.
be like, but B, I did. She has used that thing against you.
Including the men.
Now, boss.
See, the issue here is this. With men, I'm speaking from the sisterhood angle now.
Always,
Sorry.
always.
Of course. So, with men, they really don't want to hear a woman talk. Most, I will not say all. Because they feel like if the woman talks, she's nagging. Meanwhile, you need to hear her out. What does she have to say? How will she say it? Though, based on what Mr. Barry was saying, and then you added to, I feel like this communication issue is all about the way it's being portrayed.
All right.
How does the person, bring out the talk? How does the person communicate? Because most times the man wants to be authoritative. He's like, you come and sit down here. The honest truth is, I'm not trying to tell anybody that I'm a wild woman. No. But remember that the other person you're talking to is a grown person that has a will, that has a working brain. So you need to be respectful. So whenever you want to communicate, I feel like the issue with communication is the medium, or shall I say the tone that communication is being passed with. You can't just come and start bossing someone around, and then when the woman decides to voice out her own opinions too, she turns to be a nagging woman. So the only issue here is this: for the men, I just feel like you should just be a little more loving and accommodating to listen to when we women speak, because we have a lot to say. Men actually are the ones who are laid back. They don't want to talk. They don't even want to hear. They store a lot of things. You get that kind of thing. But a woman is more fluid. She wants to let you know how she's feeling. The way you talk to me, or the way you're even trying to, interfere now. I want to tell you how it is.
It's a proper example.
Yeah, that's like a proper example. So at the moment, I want to communicate to you and tell you, say, allow me, my lad.
Yes, but
All right. Okay.
But if care is not taken, if care is not taken, he might look at it as I'm either being bossy, or I'm being rude, which is not so. See, everybody has a language they understand. So just find the language your partner, understands, and actually be respectful with it. communicate in a loving tone. There are moments, yes, I know that the man wants to be all kind of thing, but come on, man, there's a way to go about it.
Okay,
I know you understand
let me
that.
add something when you're done.
Now, guys, do you see the way I just keep quiet and wait for her to land?
Communication.
Like a gentleman.
That's the problem. If you cut in between, problem. If you sit down till the end, they'll tell you, are you trying to tell me that you're not just
talking?
Am I talking to myself? The truth is this, the problem too much, it's there on the both sides. But let me give you a very quick one on how, like from what she's talking about, a lot of women complain of this thing. The women feel as if they are being marginalized in their homes.
Sure.
You understand? Their voice are not being heard. You understand? They don't have the ground to express themselves. All right? But this is the point. Whenever you have, I was talking to a friend recently. They're having this kind of issue at home and all of that. Whenever you have an issue happening in the house, that is why I keep saying that at that time you have to remove emotion out of the equation.
Yeah.
So what you do is that you being both party has to recognize that there is a position in that family. Do you understand? Like I always say, there's a difference between a man and a husband, and there's a difference between a wife and a woman. A man is a person, a husband is an office. All right?
Okay.
So just like in the corporate organization,
Why should the husband be an office?
I'm coming and I will explain to you. Like in the corporate organization, a human resources manager can be 30 years old. Why maybe a helper or a janitor in the office can be 40 or 45 years old. At that time, when we are outside the office, I'm older than you as a janitor. You can't talk to me anyhow. All right? You can't implement some certain things and expect me to do it. But once we step into the environment of that office, this is the human resources. I respect this person not because of the person, but because of the office of which the person occupied. So that is something that happens at home. So when a conflict is on ground, women, most of the time, did not recognize that I have a man, a husband, not just a man. The ability for you to communicate your deepest desire, you need to be able to win an environment where this man can listen to you.
Yes.
The mistake what a lot of women do is that you have to listen. One of the major issues a lot of women has is that they're not able to create an atmosphere for them to be able to communicate their deepest desires. All right? Because at that time that the issue is on ground, a man must stand his ground. You people always say I should not use all men, but majority of men, for peace to reign, always operate from the authoritative angle at that time, because what is causing the conflict in the first place is that there's an argument. Somebody is trying to pass an information here. Do you understand? I have my opinion. There's a belief I have about this thing that's happening. You being the woman, you have your own opinion. As of that time, I want my voice to be higher than your voice. At that time, I want to invoke what they call it, my prerogative rights, or should I call it my what they call the word. There's a word I'm looking for. When you try to implement that law as a man, my veto power, thank you, that's the word I'm looking for. A man, almost most of the men want to invoke that veto power.
Very power.
This is me. This is my house. This is my family. This is how I want it to be, and whatever. You being the woman, as of that time, trying to say, hey, you see, in as much as you have the right as a woman to say those things, I tell you, 99.9 times won't anywhere with you. This is what I advise people, just to wrap it up, just to bring kind of conclude on this point. The best time to talk to your man is early in the morning.
After Max.
If possible. Now your husband now, you understand? I'm talking from the angle of a marriage. I'm talking from the angle of a marriage.
I disagree.
You don't have to, and I'm not saying you must agree with me,
Yes.
but this is the point. It don't really has to, if it's a relationship, I have my reservations. I will tell you, I will advise you on the different, from
Even
the
in
different
marriage,
angles.
I disagree.
But in marriage, I think the best time, if you really, first of all, understand the kind of the man, you understand your wit. Is it the kind of a man that after anger, after whatever, he used to sit down, calm and listen? If it's that kind of a man, then you're in a very good space. You're in very good space. Just leverage on that time. That is why I said from the beginning that it depends on the timing of which you're communicating that feeling that you think is not being listened to.
Okay.
So that's for me.
You see, communication can be very interesting. Communication can be so good. When we first have this understanding, let us come to terms with the understanding that personalities, people are built differently.
Mm.
People are built differently. And then first, I also have to understand that if I am getting married to AC, for example, and I know very well that AC is a kind of person that every little thing breaks her. She gets angry, she's temperamental.
You don't see any better example to use for continue.
I'm just trying to do this thing. If she's a kind of person that is temperamental, and then, but I have to still communicate with her. I know AC is temperamental. What do I have to do? I have to know the information to give out. But I will not discredit the fact that this girl is temperamental. Where most of the men get it wrong is that immediately they just believe that you should change because you're married to them. Oga, understand that this girl is first built like this. And you cannot change this girl within the twinkle of an eye.
True.
You cannot, there is no way you expect this person to just be perfect. So if you're communicating, you know that, okay, if you're a type you don't want to keep secret, and you're dating someone that's temperamental, like I use that as an example, I don't want to keep secret. You open it up, you know very well that if you tell your wife, some of your friends will tell you, know, if you tell your wife this thing, you yourself, you know, if you tell your wife this thing, she'll be very angry. Let her be angry. But have you communicated? Yes. Has she listened? Yes. Sure. Now, when you keep doing these things, you keep doing these things. So what you also have to do now, when you know that what you're telling her, babe, whenever I keep telling you this thing, this is how you react. I think you should just try so I can still be talking. So if you keep doing that, when you throw one, you watch her reaction. Maybe she was, whenever she's angry, she does this. You see, she's not doing that again. You know that someone is beginning to change.
Yeah.
You get? So this communication, you don't just push all at once, those information. You drop it a bit. See her reaction.
Yeah.
How did she react? You drop another one. How is her reaction? You drop another one. How is her reaction? By this, you're doing two things. One, you're communicating. You're communicating, which is the anchor of our conversation.
Yeah.
One, your communication. Second thing you're doing is, in the midst of that communication, you're putting her temperament in check. You're helping her to be a better person, to handle information. So these things are very important.
Yeah, the thing here is this. I buy to your opinion because
where's your money?
After using me for the worst kind of example ever, temperamental. Okay. So, but the honest truth is getting from your own opinion.
Yes.
In life or in relationship or marriage, if you're not ready to be molded, please don't get into it. Don't stress anybody's child, whether you're male, whether you're female.
Yeah.
Because you see this thing called communication is the thing that will make or mar that relationship.
Sorry, what then you mean being teachable, right?
Yes.
Okay, yes.
You just let it be that if you're this worst person, your partner, by the reason of love and by the reason of your commitment, you'll be able to be, accept to be shaped into a better person. Not like you'll be 100% transformed or you become your partner's puppet, but there will be a change.
Okay.
So, but the only thing here is this relationship and communication we are talking about, whether in marriage, whether in relationship, is what will make or mar that relationship.
Yeah.
For me as a person, I don't like secrets. I love to be an open book.
Always.
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 I have nothing to hide if I say I want to be in a relationship that will lead to marriage with any man. Why should I hide anything? If you find out tomorrow, I even prefer you finding out from me than an outsider. Like as I am, I always tell anyone I'm in a relationship with, I'll be like, see, I want you to be my partner in crime. I should be free enough to tell you, God forbid, even if I killed somebody, you should be the first person to know. Yeah. That's the reason why I should be in a relationship or even in marriage with you. If I can't do any of those, I don't think I have any business with you. If you can't control your temper, if you can't control your tongue, if you're this kind of person who they tell you something, you want to use it against, I don't have any business being in such a relationship or even marriage with you, because the honest truth is that I can't have my future secured in your hands. I will not be relaxed, because I will feel like you can do anything to jeopardize my future, my children, every other thing. So if you can't have somebody, or if your partner at the moment is somebody that you cannot communicate with, I don't even know what you are doing. You are just testing the waters, or you're just walking on eggshells because nothing is
Based on
guaranteed.
what I said,
Yeah.
do you understand that people have to go through processes to change from what you want them?
I totally understand
So
what
when
you
you
mean.
said if you are not now, then there's a problem.
Yeah, there's honestly a problem,
We should
because
give people time, don't you think?
we'll give
For
people
communication
time.
to
But
work
do you know
properly.
that the moment you keep on storing all of those things you're supposed to tell your partner, probably, let's assume, I remember once someone telling me the other day, do you tell your man if you're walking on the road and then the guy says hi, maybe like tries to toast you, do you talk about it? The honest truth is, I would love to talk about it, and I do talk about it. Now, this year you're talking about giving time. For how long will I keep on storing that
That's why I say you
information?
have to check if the person.
Okay, for me, I think from my own side, I think just like what you're saying, talking about communicating, telling me everything.
Yeah.
I have live an open secret life. Is that the right word? Open secret.
Yeah,
right?
an open,
Yeah.
an open.
Okay. So now I think there are so many things that, and the only thing I can tell partners to, you must communicate with your partner, with the other of your partner, is anything that you know to a large extent is detrimental to the family, something that can affect the other person.
You don't really tell
Because
us.
there are certain things you can really not tell.
That's what I said.
And those things that you cannot tell, or anything, and those things that I think you should not tell, must be something that you personally has able to deal with it. There are some certain
And then
things you can.
tomorrow it leaks out. What
That
did you
is
say?
that's what I'm saying. When you deal with something, you deal with that thing and deal with that thing completely. There are certain things you bury and never upload it. Let
One
me
day
tell you
it gets
for
out,
example.
skeletons.
This can relate to one of our whatever before section before. Somebody like if I decide to date you today,
Okay.
I begin to tell me about your body count. I don't think I need that in my marriage. So why do you want to come and tell me that?
No, I will tell you
At the
if
com-
you ask.
Yes, that is why I said that you cannot just walk up to your partner and say, okay, I want to live a very free of secret. Let me tell you, these are what I've done, this is
But
what
I
I've done.
prefer saying.
Okay, now let me say another thing. God forbid, abortion is totally bad.
Yeah.
But let's assume that at the end of the day, you have an abortion. And as a result of that, your womb is being tampered with. Doctor, 1 or 2 tests have confirmed to you that, hey, the chance of having a child is 0 or probably 0.
Yeah.
These kind of things is detrimental to the family. Do you understand? It's deception if you don't tell. Even though you're the only one that knows, you must tell. So there are key things that we can pick out. I say this kind of thing, you must communicate it.
Yes.
But if there are personal lifestyle you have lived before,
Prior to that time.
yes, those were the process of your growth.
Mm.
My friend, bury that and let it go. You don't
So
tell me
if-
such
if-
thing.
if-
Even
if
if I
ask-
ask you, see, I'm telling you this thing, men, you see, men, like I said before, men has a kind of a heart that you can't just come and pen something on it and expect it to wipe off tomorrow. You don't do it.
Not all men do.
I'm telling you, all men. You see,
I
this
have
very
a true
man.
life story. That's why I said
In
not
as
all
much as you said that you cannot exempt one, 99.9% is all. The fact that you have an experience with one person one day,
Not
and
just
let me
one
tell you,
person,
and let me
though.
tell you one funny thing that you don't know. Men have the ability to kill things if they want to kill it. That does not mean that he has forgot it. That does not mean that he cannot take action based on that. In fact, let me tell you a story. I have an issue with my family once, with my wife once, that I thought that she's cheating on me. All right? I thought, based on evidences I saw.
Yeah.
Those evidences was too critical for me to just ignore.
Okay.
All right? I operate on them for a while, and she didn't know. I told myself, I get to a point that I build myself as like, let me ignore the fact, whatever evidence I've seen, let me assume that it does not happen. All right? And I live with it like that. But that does not mean that those things doesn't one time flash on me. The only reason why it doesn't affect her is because I'm matured enough to put it back to where it should be at every time. So, for a fact that a man able to manage the kind of information that you give him and he's not using on you does not mean that those things have been thrown to the trash completely. He made a choice.
But at least he's
so
aware.
at the end of the day, the awareness now, listen now, the awareness is it. Let me now tell you at the end of the what now keep this is just about me, and I know a lot of guys out there might have this experience. Now, when there will come to a time that she now suspects that I'm cheating on her.
Wow.
It happens in marriages, vice versa. So when this thing was happening, at some point I was happy that she's actually feel this bad. This is true life story. I was happy that she's feeling this bad about.
So she
and I was like, and I said yes. Now you serve me, and she was like, "What are you talking about?" And I bring the whole thing back. I said, "This is, do you know this is the I feel all this while, this while. These are uncommunicated desires. You understand? Pain in me, and though I've not actually lived on it to affect her, I've actually not lived on it to cheat on her or end up those things. Don't use it against her anyway. No, that's not the point. Yeah, but at a time, as life is progressing, there are things that will happen that before you know it, you begin to bring back your pains. Yes. And I begin to say, "Do you know this?" And say, "Are you serious? And you did not tell me this thing." And you say, "Okay, see, let me explain." And she begin to put dots to dot and dots to dot. And at the end of the day, no matter how I thought I buried that thing, bro, until she cleared me again now in this time, that was the only time I was healed. I live with that pain for long, but nobody knows. These are a lot of things that happens. These are a lot of things that happens in marriages and in relationships. At the end of it, I cannot communicate it because at the end of it, do you know why you cannot actually communicate it? Do you know why? Because after that time, a woman is expecting that I have said sorry now, so let it go. Yes. And for you to be a gentleman,
unforgiving spirit.
No, it's not an unforgiving. You have to find a way to differentiate. No, why I'm saying this is that. Let me tell you something. A lot of people out there are reasoning like she's saying what she's saying.
But is it truth now?
A lot of people will see it as
majority of the men have unforgiving spirit.
Now listen, based on the context of my story now. Let me finish this story, so that something you have to learn something. Based on the context of this story now, yes. A lot of people will see it as unforgiving spirit. That actually did not forgive her. Unforgiving spirit comes when this person is guilty, apologize to you, and he knows that this person is guilty of this offense. And this person has apologized, has done everything. And you say, okay, I've forgiven you, it's gone. But it's in your heart. You're living on that pain. That's unforgiving spirit. But when you have a suspicion about someone, yes, and evidences has been proven one way or the other, and you conclude in your head that this person hurts me. And at the end of the day, you say, okay, for peace to reign, let it go. That the person is not guilty. That person has not apologized to you because the person is not even guilty of the offense. What you're doing, you're suffering a pains of assumption.
So who did suffer now?
That's why I say you're suffering the pains of assumption. So it cannot be communicated because of what? At that time, we are good. Both of us are okay. I have to be a gentleman and never to bring that thing up.
No, you need to ask questions.
The question you're asking.
You're in a relationship or in marriage with a partner. We are not talking about the regular boyfriend-girlfriend issue here. Yeah. We are talking about serious relationships and marriage. Yeah. So if you are having an assumption somewhere in your head, the best bet is for you, if depending on your partner, if the partner is truthful, you call that partner, sit the partner down and have a wee time. And then you talk to that partner and say, please try to explain this to me. So that guilt or that thing you're having in your heart, I mean, there's no need for it. Because do you know that the moment you start piling all of those things up, it's going to be a problem. Because the day you explode, the pieces will be too much to gather.
I agree. I agree totally.
You have a point.
I agree totally. And that's why I'm telling this story. And that is for the people out there to learn. Listen, but the problem is this. Apart from the time that God has helped us and come to a podcast like this for us to share our stories and to help people out there are so many people that at the time that you're expecting them to call for that discussion and have that question, they can't even call. See, there are things that happens in relationship every day that man, talk this thing. The other man say, no, leave him. Just let it go now. You don't try to help this thing. What's the point? You're battling with yourself on a regular basis. You're battling. And if you communicate that thing at the wrong time, it will hurt you the more. So there are some certain things that situation will just bring it out on its own. Like I said, when this thing happened, when she now come up with this, I said, okay, you use this plate to serve me food now. Now I'm serving you the same plate. Yeah, eat the one, see how you
See
eat.
how you do.
Do you understand that kind of
Everybody.
thing? Now, let me tell you another story. I'm going to tell you a lot of story today. I have a relationship, and this girl used to complain that I don't have her time, this and that. I only call her when I
This was
need
before
her.
your
This was
marriage.
before marriage. I only when you
It's
need
very
me, now they
important
call
to
me
have to
and whatever
clear
kind of
that
thing. So all of these things, she has her complaints and she talk about how I treated her and all of that. At the time as of that time, I wasn't serious with her, but she didn't know that I wasn't serious with her. I was just playing my life and whatever.
Wow.
Now she didn't even communicate to me what she's feeling. Anytime I come and explain, she would just say, okay, fine, no problem. And relationship continues. Then at the end of the day, that time I became serious. I made up my mind, say, okay, this girl is a good girl. She has enjoyed a lot with it. And let me build something with her.
Pity.
And the day that, no, it's not pity.
No, go ahead.
It's a man's decision.
I'm coming to you.
Marriage is a decision for a man.
Mm.
So it's not on the emotion. You don't use emotion to choose wife. If not, you will die quick,
Yes.
my brother. So coming back to the
So
story,
you feel that
as of the
by having
time
understanding that she's
I have made a decision,
say
say this can be I can build something with this person. Let me start something
But
serious.
because of that understanding that whatever you tell her, that's serious.
I decided to
Go
say,
ahead.
let me choose. Let me listen. From the time I wanted to be serious with this woman,
Yes.
she should start her own character. Do you understand? Now, this is the point. She now tried to tell me,
That's
sir.
a pure case of Obanje.
She now said, I
You
can't.
see?
This real life story. And this girl started coming. I called her. She said, okay, I'm coming. The next thing, no, we'll see him. Like that, on nonchalant attitude. And this thing keep hurting me. As of she tell me, say, okay, now you're complaining now.
Yeah,
The
she
other-
got to pay back.
I said, you're paying me back.
Of
You know what
course.
comes to my head? If in a relationship I do something, you're paying me back, what will happen when we get to marriage?
See,
That was how I ended it. That was my own limited understanding and
that she
understand level of
complicated
it.
that
It's
you-
gone.
Let me chip in
And this thing happens to a lot of men.
Yes. Let me chip in something. This is what I'm saying. I said this thing.
Oh God.
See, a lot of things. Why I tell you? Why
Here we
sometimes
go.
I support the other gender, the ladies, is because some men use this. I am the head of the family.
Yeah.
a lot of things.
Exactly.
suppress.
Let me if you tell a woman something, I'm still saying it too. If you tell a lady something, hey babe, let's communicate. This thing happened. So they say, okay, it's fine, no problem. Baby. And so did you hear the part where I said that mistakenly I kissed? Here's my head, it's fine, no problem.
They don't do it before.
She said no problem. Okay, thank you. Now
Me, I cannot tell you no problem.
No, wait, I'm talking.
You need to describe the
Is it you
kiss.
we are talking about.
You
in
need
this
to
podcast?
describe the kiss. I'm just saying.
We are not talking about you.
Are you that meticulous? You want
Jealous?
to know the details. Wait, we'll come to that.
Not that you.
So-
You are my sister. Take her. Don't
So
be jealous.
when you tell a lady, so now you've kissed her, the lady say, ah, fine, no problem. And then the following day, then you not be like, babe, oh, sorry, you mistaken. I never wanted to do this. I was drunk. And mistakenly, I had something to do. Oh, I hope you're fine. Yes. You're okay, right? Yes. Okay, it's fine, no problem. A man will be so stupid that this lady is taking everything.
He's not stupid.
No, wait, I'm coming.
The
That
man
man will be like, okay,
you feel that way.
it was almost the same case with Mr. Barry. Now,
Yeah.
okay, I have an understanding.
Yeah.
This person is very understanding.
Yeah.
In fact, this person understands what communication is. Look at, I communicate with this person and this thing happens. There's no problem. And then now, when this thing comes back, and then tomorrow, that lady will now be like, babe, sorry, this thing happens. And then you now want to react. This is where men get it.
No.
If no, I'm coming. I know you want to tell me about the nature of men. If you hurt them and
No. That's not where I'm going.
You
But,
come to
yeah.
it.
Ah.
If that lady was very understanding, just so that peace can reign, just so that communication can work properly, then what stops you from also having that kind of
Understand.
Patient and patient.
that the lady had? That okay, for peace, okay, babe. Let it just be that this lady actually, this is where we get it wrong. Let it be that whatever you did was not out of revenge. That's one.
Yeah.
That is one.
Yeah.
Let it not be that there were calculated effort from you to revenge, to pay back. Let it not be that it was a vendetta or something. If it wasn't within the confine of anything vendetta, revenge, or reprisal, it's fine. It's not a reprisal. It is fine. You did that maybe out of mistake. Okay, something just came and you did it. And you come. The first thing I will appreciate is that you told me first.
Thank you.
That's the first thing.
That's
Babe,
communication.
I cheated. Babe, I'm coming. Babe, I cheated. You told me first. Oh, I'm so grateful. You said this to me first. I'm not saying you should communicate everything. Still, you say you don't be smart. I'm still not saying you should
Okay, now.
But for the
I
fact
try
that
to be
you told
calm
me
today
first,
because the
that
Lord is
babe,
fighting
see,
for the sisters.
this is what happened.
Mm.
And then let me also remember that when this thing happened, and I'll ask, babe, did you actually do this to get back at me for things that 2 years ago? Oh, no. But just for the fact that this thing happened. Then, when you now say, why will you have to do that? And then you say you love me, and this, and that. But years ago, you did similar thing. And then this is your reaction. That is where problem comes in communication. In communication, like you said, people should be emotionless. I agree with that so much. It's not easy to take away emotions. In things like me personally. If you
Okay,
do
now.
that kind of thing, I go feel that.
Let me try to
Even if I say I don't forgive you,
let me try to
this girl really did this.
let me try to
So you
chip
get
in
these
something.
things.
Let me try to chip in something when it comes to that man something.
Yes,
In as much, that's why I say,
That's a good
according to you, you agree with me that you must be emotionless.
I agree.
And when I talk about
It's
emotion,
hard, but
it's hard.
it's
But
hard.
life does not thrive on the emotions. Do you understand?
Life actually drives on
No.
Okay, what?
It
Life
doesn't thrive on the emotions.
It does.
It doesn't.
We have
It
a
doesn't.
separate
It does.
conversation
But
after
now,
this section.
but after now, we have a conversation that she said we'll carry on to a lesson. Now, reality of life still tells you that you cannot fight a man and win. This is how God created man. Man is at this level. Man honor what is above him.
You see this married man,
He respects and value what is below him, and he fight anything that's in contemporary with him.
So what is below him?
Listen,
You
God is not. Let me tell you something. You can. What I like.
She asked
At
me
the come.
what is below him.
That is the question I'm answering now.
And two shall become.
Now listen. Before you do that, before you wait now, let me answer now. I'm answering the question and I'll answer you.
Two shall become what?
Two shall become.
Will you allow me to answer? So now you ask me then. So what is below him? Now let me explain. God is above a man. A woman by the originality. It's God that created husband and wife. It's God that created man and woman.
Yes.
And now bringing a principle that keeps a husband and a wife together.
Okay.
Do you understand?
Together, right?
Now, this togetherness, that is why I always say the difference between the man and the husband, a woman and the wife. Now, both of you became together. But for you, both of you to be together, which is the agreement, can two work together except they agree. Where the agreement comes, it comes from negotiation, communication. Then when we are having a communication, that's what we call conflict resolution. If you study it, you'll find out that when we are having a communication to settle a conflict, there is always a table of negotiation. Somebody sit down the other side, the other person sit down the other side. Do you understand? At the time of settling issue at home, both of you must sit on your seats. A woman must respect that I am a woman. That's what we call fivefold ministry of marriage. And the fivefold ministry of marriage is 3-2. Men operate on 3 angles, while women operate on 2 angles. The 3 angles of a man is provision. Listen, the 3 angles of a man is provision, protection, and projection. The 2 angles of a woman is helpfulness and submission.
You said the first one, helpfulness.
Being a helper.
Okay.
I'm submitting. You help a man and you submit to his vision.
According to what the Bible says.
According to that is the biblical principle of marriage. This has nothing to do with gender based or whatever.
Very apt.
That is it. So when I provide, when I protect, when I project you before the world and defend your interest, you are to help me achieve that vision and submit to the vision. So once I became a leader, like I always said, a leader did not superimpose. The fact that I'm operating on this triangle does not mean that you are my subject. No, you are my partner.
Yes.
Partner operating in your office, respectively.
So now you're saying
Once
that
you're able
no one's
to-
under the man.
Once you're able to find this
That's what the Bible
office,
says.
once you're able to find this office and operate in that line, believe me, whenever there's an issue on ground, even if you being the woman is the one that is right, the fact that at that very time a man is exercising authority, don't fight him.
Okay.
If you fight him that time, even that you're right, that you're trying to prove, will be truncated.
Okay. Before I say, Ose, do you have anything to add before?
Hi. Wow.
That one hit you.
The honest truth is just that.
Gen-
Okay, first and foremost, my first disagreement was when, was it Mr. Barry or Mr. Confident? Okay,
No,
Mr.
he-
Barry, when he was saying that you need to. I'm not against looking out for the exact time to talk to your partner, but you use the morning one. And I said I disagree because we should not just limit conversations or communications to just the morning time. Yes, I know, like that's the time when you feel like the other person is in moo at the point in time to hear all your rubbish. But
Yeah.
the honest truth is that you need your partner to be really sane and active when you want to talk. Take for example, I remember somebody, the person was waking up very early in the morning, pardon me, and then it happened that that thing of like, baby, can you hear me? Can you hear me? But not to the end actually.
Yeah.
And then
With sleepy eyes.
Yeah, communication was not passed.
Mm.
But I will always say that yes, it's good for you to find a good time, emphasis on good time, for you to talk to your partner, because it must not necessarily be morning, it must not necessarily be night, but when that partner is ready to receive that information.
That's
true. And then secondly, the one that I was enduring for you to talk about. I was so hot inside.
Also.
Yeah, when he was talking about the fact that, a man is here, and then he was like, there are other things that are below him, and I asked him who is below him, because to the best of my knowledge, two shall become one. And what God has joined together is not under and above. What God has joined together. So partners are, especially the married ones, they are together. Yes, I understand that what's the right way now to put it? Two captains cannot be in a ship.
Yeah.
I accept that. I am not for the wild women. I'm sorry. I'm not for the timid women, but I'm for the realistic woman. The honest truth is that, yes, the husband is the husband. And we love men because we believe they are there to protect us and, provide for us. You said 3 to 2, but there are also some women that the third one, projection, it's not the husband that's projecting them, they're the ones projecting themselves. But let's move away from that. Now, the issue here is that this thing about equality, when it comes to communication at that point in time, it's two people that are talking. It's not master and slave. It's not boss and servant. It's two people who want to make something work.
Okay.
That are talking at that point in time. So their brain needs to align. There should be no bigger brain and smaller brain. Because if you tell me that, let's assume that the woman is under, then that means you're trying to tell me that her brain should be smaller and the man's brain should be bigger. But the issue here is this: husband and wife, fiance and fiancée, whichever way they pronounce it. The honestly, when it comes to communication, there's no one that is bigger than the other. It's just two people at a table trying to come to a conclusion of something. They need, a solution. So no one is the bigger person there. All they just need is what? Acceptance that something is wrong. We have to talk about it and we have to fix it. The reason for communication is to fix and not for more damage. The reason for communication is to open up and not to close the more. Because I think I was also hearing earlier that issue of, it's not everything you tell your partner, you have to wait this and that and that. What we are talking about here in Room 69 podcast, we're not talking about those, I will not call them relationship, those small boyfriend, girlfriend shit. No, we are talking about real relationship. We are trying to profess solution, even for marriages too. So we are really meaning business. We are talking about serious people. And if you want to be serious in your relationship, then I believe your partner has the right to know you. It's better off your partner knows you than someone else trying to tell your partner, say, there was something you were saying earlier, and I said, oh, I have a true life story. It so happened that, what do they call? There's this man, his wife was a former runs girl, like very bad one.
Okay.
You know, those ones that were touring the cities and, countries and the rest. And then he knew about his woman's past because she was open to him. She said she was tired of that lifestyle. She wanted to move on and all of this stuff. We have our proko people in life. So one day, one aproko, like, maybe this girl, like trying to relieve the girl's past, probably trying to reduce her. Maybe you don't feel say, see person now, why would she be the lucky one? There's always this saying that now the bad ones they marry first before the good ones. So it now happened that when it happened to the guy was like trying to run her down. The husband was like, stop it. I know everything about my woman's past. And I decided emotional maturity, discipline, and all of this stuff. I decided to go with her because I love her. And her past is her past. At that point in time, I was like, whoa, this is like the perfect thing. Because if he did not know, and then trying to fault the earlier claim that what's in the past is in the past. If he did not know, if she didn't open up to him, if she didn't tell him her past, and thank God for being the good man he is, he had the emotional maturity, it would have happened that at that point in time, he would have said, did I marry a pig, or, all those very bad words? And there'll be problem. Before you know, there will be a breakdown. Before she would try to start explaining and explain, oh, don't be angry, it's my past, I forgot to tell you, blah, blah, blah. Damage has been done. It will take a lot more trust. But if you come into a relationship, you're serious. You know that you want this partner, whether male or female. You want to take this to the next level, and you're really serious and honest. Please be open, communicate. The worst that will happen is that the person will use it against you. Then that goes to show the person's bad character, not yours.
Bad. Okay.
That's a bad character. Why should you use someone's talk against the person?
Now,
because I told you, God forbid, I'm a thief, and then you want to tell the whole world that I'm a thief. It's not about me now stealing.
Using it against you does not necessarily mean going to the public. This can happen inside within.
That means I can't even trust you, because you telling me again to my face in a mocking form. You can tell that to
I said this thing, so okay. I said, do you really understand that people have weaknesses, that their emotions yet are not very strong?
The moment you're in a relationship, you need to work on your weakness.
That's what I'm saying.
We are not talking about perfect.
They should have time.
Yeah, there's always a time.
I'll push this to a different.
Now, okay. So that's a very good point, and thumbs up for you. But now, let me try to find a balance. All right, so that we'll not get ourselves, we won't confuse ourselves.
Okay.
Communication, with my little understanding, communication has levels. Do you understand? Yeah, it has levels. When I was talking about recognizing the position of a man and a woman in the house, I'm talking about the beginning of a conflict. All right? When the conflict, the problem is that a lot of time, women, like I said earlier, see it as if they are being suppressed. Their voice has not been heard. Do you understand? These are one of the major issues. I've listened to like 3-4 women that have cases like that, say, my husband will not even allow me to talk. I want to do this, he's not even listening to me, and all of that. It has been the complaint a lot of people has, more especially when the marriage has grown to a certain level. When the marriage just at the preamble, just the beginning of it, there's always this love, romantic fantasies around, and at the end of the day, everybody can ride. But as marriages progresses, it gets to a stage whereby authority begins to come in, recognition begins to come in. Everybody wants them to be, I want to be seen, I want to be recognized. All right. So at the time when they have an issue, man always want to say, I want to be the man. All right. So at that time, the way you're approaching the whole issue is where I'm saying recognize who you are, so that at the end of the day, your voice can be heard. But when we are come to a time of full us sit down and we are on the same mood, good mood, for us to have a discussion about an issue, like you said, I totally agree. Both of us are the same. No opinion is superior to another. It is like I said earlier, I want a woman that can question my assumption. A woman that if I say A, she can tell me that that A has two legs. Maybe I was only seeing only one leg before. But now she's able to prove to me that this A has two legs. And from that, I say, I never see this angle before. But the truth is that if you are in the midst of heated conversation, and you want to prove to me that this A has two legs, there might going to be an additional problem. It will escalate. Yeah. You understand? Because at that time, I feel as if you're not even recognizing me. So this is where the whole issue is. So the intelligence, the wisdom, that's why even Bible say that a wise woman build her own home. But it says, but a foolish one do what? It tears down with its own hands. So this is where the wisdom of womanhood comes to play. So when you have this understanding, you will know when to prove that you're right, that equality in the marriage, and at the end of the day will not hurt you. Area of open up everything. In as much as yes, there's no secret from the beginning. I told you there shouldn't be any secret in marriage. But this is where I'm coming. This is where I'm coming from. When I was single, there are certain things I've done. All right, and I'm using as an example hypothetically.
Skeletons.
Not me.
Right.
Example.
Yes.
There are so many things I must have done. All right, I've looked at it critically and found out that this thing is not actually detrimental to my marriage moving forward. I'm fine. But just that this was my rough life. This was the process of my life growing. I don't regret it. They are the reason why I am who I am today. I don't regret them. But I can't do them anymore because they were my past mistakes. Now, if I bring it into my marriage and begin to explain everything to this man, to this woman or to this man. Okay, let me say to this woman. And the woman at the end of this, okay, this is who Barry was. Okay, I'm able to deal with this and we are going forward and whatever. Remember, I'm also human. I can still make mistakes. Do you understand? You don't stereotype your life to people. You don't give people a blueprint of your life to operate on. Even if you have to be open in a way that let your partner understand that you are a moving progress, you're moving into perfection. You understand? So that every single thing that comes up as life goes on, as the relationship comes, it should be a new thing for you to learn and understand that this is who Barry is now. But if at the end of the day, if you begin to carry my past into you, your life, the way you're going to see me, is going to mirror through that life that you have told me. In as much as you're doing everything possible to make sure that you're not that person anymore, there's a mirror. You have created an impact already. So it is too dangerous. In as much as I agreed that there are people that have gained the maturity to deal with this, I am saying the majority doesn't have.
Okay.
So it's too risky to bring such matters.
Okay, so where I want to come in a different angle, just by way of summing this up. I think, like we said, communication. All our conversation is predicated on that, on communication. What I want to say is that it's very important that communication should happen. But you made mention of something which I picked and I love very well. I picked two words: conflict and escalation. When a conflict has escalated to a point whereby that communication between the two parties cannot yield the result or positive result. Even if that is why both partners should not always purport in their mind that no matter what happens, we will not have a third party. It's not bad to have a third party when it comes to communication. Having a third party simply means going to maybe a marriage counselor. So this is what we are going to. We are not able to find a possible solution. I'm not saying every little thing that happens, you run to the counselor or something. But when it has escalated, that conflict or something, that maybe the both of you are not able to handle that communication, then you seek for guidance. Okay, and then you begin to answer personal questions from the counselor. You this, you that. They have experience in this. This is their work. You get here. So they are mastery in that area. So when you begin to have this, you seek a marriage counselor. And then from there, you begin to pick one or two things. And then some marriage counselors, they will even suggest that you do this to this person, you do that to this person. That is when a communication has gotten to a point where it's hard to find a common ground, where it's hard for the both of you to come to a consensus. The both of you should seek a counselor. I'm saying this for those out there. I know you must be having maybe one or two problems with your partner, your spouse, or anyone. Meeting a counselor does not mean you're bringing a third party into your home. That's not what it means. It means the both of you have taken conscious and calculated effort to make sure that this marriage works out perfectly. So seeking does not mean, it doesn't mean that every little thing that happens you have to seek a counselor. No. When it has get to a point where that conflict has escalated, that communication between the both of you will not be able to find a common ground, then seek a counselor. Maybe from there, you'll be able to find these things, and proffer solution to this problem. Just
All right.
maybe that is what is holding your marriage or relationship.
Yeah.